noticed that we are competing with another room right now, which actually has my attention. It's called What a Man Needs from a Woman. So,
Don't tell Steven.
no, I won't. It's kind of funny. I'm like, oh, that's good. So thank you for joining us. You're more interested in special use land than what a man needs from a woman. And I appreciate that. So glad you're here. As everybody's kind of logging in and getting some tea or coffee or Coke or water, whatever you need to get comfortable. Just want to say hi. I'm joined with some people on my team here, and I see a lot of great people joining in the room. I'm really excited to have you. My partner in crime, Stephen Jack Vitala, is, I'm sure, logging in as we speak, and we'll be jumping in the room here, and he's got a lot to say on this. He's my in our little world, special use land and how to source those deals. I can't do it without him. Hi, Stephen. I see you join the room, but we cannot hear you yet, FYI. So glad you're here. I'm going to give a little background and introduction. I am Jill DeWitt, and my partner there, business and everything partner, is Stephen Jack Vitala. We are Land Academy, and we started 6 or so years ago, sharing our whole business model with the planet because everybody asked and wanted to know. So we created Land Academy, and then it morphed into a podcast and all kinds of other things that we do for free in an online community. And so when Clubhouse, came to be a thing, I'm like, well, this is great. I love it and I love this. I argue I love this more than our podcast because I get to talk to you, and we get to talk to you here and really have conversations. The podcast, as you know, is kind of one-sided. You're just hearing us talk. We try to cover the topics that you ask about. We answer questions on there, but this is way more fun, and you can really interact. And I see. I'm turning up my volume here. Thank you. And we can really hear what you have to say. So thank you. Okay, I think we're good. Can you hear me, Stephen? You want to unmute and join us? Oh, let me move you forward a little bit here too. All right, Stephen's getting with us. So what we're going to talk about today, though, so we are Land Academy, and you can look us up. We have a land investing club here on Clubhouse, so please join that to make sure that you get notified when we do these talks. Stephen, I'm going to have you just jump in when you get your stuff going. Just say hey and jump in. Okay. So you get notified, and we're trying to cover, again, like everything, we want to cover what you want to talk about. Any questions or comments or things that are on your mind about what we do. We are land people. We've done many other property types. If you can read our bios and read about us. 16,000 transactions. So we've done a lot, and we've done a little bit of everything from houses, commercial properties. Not a fan of industrial. Anything involving EPA kind of scares us, so that's not one of the things that we dive into freely. But our main thing is still land. We just love land. So that's the majority of what we do. And today we're going to talk about special use land. You want to get really, even in the land world, people look at us like, you guys are such a niche. I'm like, well, you think that's a niche? Hold on a moment. You can get even niche-y, and even deeper into the land thing, like, a certain property use, property type, all kinds of different things, zoning, depending what you're looking for and what you want to do with this. So, do I have you now, Stephen? No, doggone it, poor guy. Okay, he's still working on this. I apologize, everyone. So I'm going to tell a story real quick. I'm going to open it up with this. And just kind of give you some background about how we do this and what we're talking about today, and maybe get some questions and some thoughts going in your head. So a couple of years ago, LA County changed the zoning from in residential areas from basically one SFR to allow 2 units, 4 units, even more. And they didn't tell anybody. They just they didn't make a big deal out of it. It was just like a zoning change. It got approved. Everybody's stuff changed, and we thought the general public, like most people, wouldn't know and be aware of it. And I'm sure the general public wasn't. But it's funny because the people I talked to, oh boy, did they know. Anyway, and the whole point was to encourage people to have an additional dwelling unit on their property to increase the housing, right? Instead of having one house on every lot, why can't we have 2 residences and 2 addresses and everything so we can, solve some of the housing crisis in LA County? So at this time, we were working with a guy that had all these investors that were hot on this topic. They were looking for, 4, 8, and more zoning that they would allow that many doors basically to be built, and because they wanted to buy them, as a SFR, buy the thing, tear it down, and make it a small apartment complex kind of thing, small apartment building. So that's just kind of an example. So what did we do? Figured out what the zoning is, backed up to that, did the data. This is how we get deals. We use our favorite right now is Data Tree, but there's Data Tree, there's Black Knight, there's RealQuest through CoreLogic, sources you can get to get real good pertinent data. Got the data, download the data, scrubbed it down, created offers, good offer prices, not retail, mind you. These are still got to be good buys no matter what. We want to account for anything that could go wrong, and sent out. And it was like about it was between 17 and 20,000 units of mail that we dropped at one time. And it was so funny because I personally said, let me take the first wave of calls. I want to see how this is. I want to see how it goes. I want to see how smart these people are. I want to see, what do they know? Do they like it? Do they like our offers? All that good stuff. And I did. And it was hilarious. And it was interesting to me how many people knew it. They were up. I was shocked. I didn't think that people would really pay attention to that stuff, but they did. Anyway, it was a good success. Bought properties. It worked out great. So that's just kind of an idea of what we do. I'm not going to travel around and put a sign in the ground. I haven't even seen a bandit sign in a while, but we search for exactly what we want. I knew exactly the size properties I wanted. So we really put a lot into this too. It's not just the zoning. You need to know what you're going to make out of it. So you've got to make sure, okay, the zoning change, that's great. Is a lot the right size? Because when you have setbacks and things like that, you've got to be able to build on it and do all the things you need to do. And there's lots of other little nuances and things you have to be ready for. So we got all that done ahead of time, and then we sent out offers to only the ones that we really wanted to purchase, if you will, and then waited for those people to call us back. And that's our whole goal here too, by the way. It doesn't do me any good to send every single person in this zip code, without doing the research, a postcard. Last thing I want to do is have every single, and then a postcard, so they're all calling me back. Well, that's great. How do I know if I wanted it sewn correctly? And then number 2, they're all calling me back with their retail number. They might have a make me move number, and those are not the people I want to talk to. I want to talk to the people that get my offer. I've already pre-scrubbed out. I know it's the right stuff that I want. Now all we got to do is connect on the price. And
Jill, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yay.
Awesome.
Now
Sorry
I got
about that.
you. No, it's okay. And then now that they've got my offer in the mail, they know how I roll, and they know what I'm looking at price-wise. So this is a couple years ago. That worked out great. Could you hear? Hi, Jack. How are you?
Hello. I'm excellent. Thanks for having me again.
Good. I'm glad you're here. I don't know if you were able to catch any of my audios. You could hear
100%.
my little.
So I could hear you right from the beginning.
Okay, good. All right.
My outbound.
You just weren't able to. This is kind of. We could do this around the house more often, where you can just hear me and then I can't hear you.
I think that would be great for all relationships.
Yeah, there we go. Oh my gosh. Did you hear my concern right now? We're competing with a somebody else's clubhouse room, which is called what men want from women. So if I drop out of this room for a minute, I'm over there. Just
That's
kidding.
the fastest way to lose listeners.
Exactly. Because that's not what we're going to talk about today. So, all right. So you heard I kind of prefaced who we are, and I kind of prefaced, you know, what we do and the deals we do and how we do them. And then I kind of told my LA County story. So this topic today, Jack, came from you because I think you've had a lot of people recently reaching out to you to help you get, to help them get these kind of deals.
Yeah, so special use property seems to me to be a logical extension for somebody who's already successfully buying and selling land. Or let's just call it rural vacant land, like the Land Academy way. Buy for 20 or 30, sell for 80 or 90. And those deals seemingly never go away. And I don't think they will for people that have figured this all out, including us. So once that happens, and I noticed this in Career Path a lot. People join Career Path because it either is their career or they've convinced themselves. They've tested they've tested it and it works for them. They want more. So if you're regularly buying and selling rural vacant land and making it the kind of money that you want to, the natural progression for that is to open up another line of revenue or another line of business. And you can do that all different kinds of ways. You can do it with houses. You can do it with, special use property, which is really what this is about. And so a lot of conversations end up in every career path that we've taught. There's a separate module now permanently on special use property. So what do I mean by special use property? Your example in LA County is great, but there are several counties, many counties that include zoning as a part of their data set. For whatever reason, some counties, the vast majority actually, care about what a property is zoned, whether it's commercial, what subsection of commercial, whether it's zoned general or agricultural. And that changes, for better or for worse, the assessed value of the property. Core commercial property in a central business district is going to be taxed way differently than a rural vacant piece of land in the same county. For obvious reasons, it's got more value. So you can utilize this to your benefit. A great example is that agricultural property in general, if you can get a data set that identifies property as agricultural, the vast majority of the places in the country allow mobile homes to go on agriculturally zoned property. In fact, agriculturally zoned property, in my opinion, has the loosest rules about what you can do with it. So it becomes a situation where you could send a mailer out for 1 acre agriculturally zoned property in a county that's unincorporated. Like I'm already verbally scrubbing data now. And so that's your data set. You send an offer out, and when you get some property back and buy it, the description when you go to sell it is this property is pre-zoned for mobile homes. So there's a lot of ways that you can create special use property for yourselves. Does that make sense, Jill?
Yeah, it does. I was thinking about there's like a rule that it's easier to zone up than to zone down. Like, the more specific the property is, it's harder to get.
Here's another
example. Is that
example.
kind of where you're going with the agricultural land?
Yeah, I can give you a few real clear, simple examples. In certain places in Arizona and Texas and Florida, which is where we buy a lot of property for mobile homes, they have very specific zoning. And so it's not that hard to really identify that zoning and create a mailer. And the vast majority of the people that would sell a property have no idea that it's pre-zoned for mobile homes. Mm-hmm. I use mobile homes as an example now because it's all the rage. Everybody wants to be involved in mobile homes from Wall Street all the way down.
That used to be a sore subject for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And now it's the greatest subject. However, I was watching somebody else's webinar the other night all about mobile home parks. I lasted not even 10 minutes.
What is that?
Let me, I will share this with you. I'm all excited. I'm like, all
This is
right,
great.
this is the best thing. I was all excited. I'm like, this guy is clearly a mobile home pro, right? I'm like, I'm going to listen to this. I'm paying attention. I'm like ready to take notes. And he started to share about all the stuff that we know about that can go wrong. He was talking about how buying, these parks and how hard it is to find managers for these parks. He's like, on average, it takes a long time to find one that'll stick more than a month because he says they usually take the rent and go. And I'm out.
What's the motivation to? Like, why do you start with the bad stuff?
Good point.
Was it Mobile Home University?
No, it was not.
Because I'm actually a member there.
No, it wasn't. It was not that. But it was really funny. I'm like, no, I just can't do it. I gave up. So it's so funny.
Another great example is there's all subsections of commercial property, and so the states that I'm familiar with, they're designated by CB.
Mm-hmm.
Could be CB4, CB3, CB8, and so if you look up what those mean, CB4 specifically in one state where we operate is conducive for self-storage. But when you see properties for sale like that, they don't say that. They say 2.5 acres on Old Rural Road, ready to be developed, instead of saying mobile home park pre-zoned or self-storage park pre-zoned.
Isn't that hilarious?
So all it takes is a change of a title if you know what you're doing and a real specific mailer.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. I'm going to take some people since we're chatting about this and see what they have to say. Hey, Justice, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you two?
Good, thank
Excellent.
you.
Hey, I just want to appreciate this is an awesome topic.
Oh.
Like, I've been thinking of this and taking action on just singling out a specific model alongside of just selling properties in general and highlighting what is my favorite type of property to invest into, who are my favorite types of buyers, and really honing in on that, especially with marketing. I have a quick question. You guys were mentioning I think it's called SB 9, SB 10 in California, with the how you can subdivide the properties.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that applies for land in any way? I know it's kind of on the lines of a residential property, but I was trying to research some aspect of it, but couldn't get too much details on it.
Well, that's a LA City specific thing. It would apply to the concept applies everywhere, but LA City is trying to, in their infinite wisdom, trying to make Los Angeles more densely populated.
Got it. Yeah. And then last time you were speaking on subdividing properties.
Yeah.
Jack, is that something that you really are? Like, what state do you think is like the best for that?
Texas.
Yeah. I actually have a. It was kind of funny because I'm barely switching over to you guys' templates for offers, and I sent out one of the largest blind offer campaigns I probably ever did, and forgot to take out the houses. And I guess it was the data provider. I thought it was supposed to take it out for me, and I sent it to Texas. Well, I'm getting a huge backlash on that, and then I also didn't use you guys' specific letter, and I didn't really identify the specific property. I added the APN, but to make it easy, because I didn't have a lot of room for my legal description and size of the property, I just left that out, and then now it's just like such a mess.
But, did you get anything out of it yet at all, positively?
Not yet, because I kind of segmented the list, and I just plan on keep doing that over and over again. I know I'm going to get something out of it because it was about 40,000 offers, but it was, I think 15,000 of them were houses. So
you'll get something.
I'm going to get something out of that. So if I get one deal, I'll be happy.
That's awesome. So how did you price these houses?
No, I don't know what it was. I used Priced. I don't know if you're familiar with that. And
we know them.
Yeah, and it was supposed to take out the houses, but I used that, and then I just used their algorithm, I guess, to price it. And normally I don't do that. That was the first time I used Priced, and I don't know why it went so big on the campaign, but I'm hoping I could get something out of it. But I was also going to ask you, like, I like tips on buying houses, like big ranches that probably have a house on it, and cause I've never actually purchased anything like that. I've only purchased land and resold it.
Stephen, can I first jump in here and just say something? As smart and we know, and one of the guys, Price, has been in Land Academy. That's kind of where it started this whole thing going.
Both of them have, Joe.
Yeah, they're more technical guys, right? They're trying to do an easy button, but there are flaws, and I think you just uncovered a few of the flaws, Justice.
The two guys that Priced are former Land Academy members. They came to us, me specifically, with this idea to automate.
We met
pricing.
With them on it,
and I listened for several meetings. While both of them, one of them specifically, ate on the microphone, had his lunch while he was talking to me, and was pounding out. There's just total narcissistic, selfish guys. Both of these guys, and I said the idea is great, but you're completely missing the whole point to this. The whole point is to price real estate properly, not create a revenue generation machine for you that doesn't work. And I said, I'd love to work with you, but I need this, this, and this, and this, and you need to figure this stuff out. And it just didn't work. We had huge personality conflicts. So every time I hear about Priced, you are no exception. It just doesn't work right. It gets you to like 80% of the way there. It gives you this false hope. And then tragic shit happens just like this.
Yeah. I'm hoping that it's I'm gonna. Well, and it's funny because like I sent out a very small campaign of blind offers, and I already got like multiple deals back. That's going to produce way over the campaign. I just did that manually, like segmentating the area, and easily got multiple deals. But I was thinking, I don't know. It was a pretty sellable concept, I guess, and I kind of took a little bit too much action on it, I guess, but it's definitely something that I want to improve on. And honestly, there's just multiple different aspects of the campaign that I don't know why I had a lot of experience sending campaigns out, so I don't know why I didn't at least glance at the list and look for those addresses in there. I just figured, because I selected the land option, and it should have pulled those out, but it's okay.
The reason I'm saying this to make you feel better, the reason we're in the housing business at all is because I made a mistake like that, and we started buying houses. This is like 4 years ago, maybe 5.
Yeah, I got a lot of people. I'm sorry.
Made a mistake, but the real value is that Joe is taking these calls, and she's, hearing these people scream at her saying, you offered $15,000 for my house. And she turns it around like she always does and turns it into a deal. Turns it into, well, what do you really want? And so if you can somehow do that in your mailer, this might be your next business.
I just, and then does your guys' deal funding work for that too?
Yeah.
Because I've literally just been asking people that. Hey, I'm sorry, that wasn't supposed to go out. Like, well, what do you want for it? And I got like, and for this campaign, I have not set up the call center because I just wanted to see how it goes. And I haven't mailed Texas yet. And for whatever reason, I decided to do that like this. And I'm getting a lot of backlash on it, particularly because I'm from California. They got some.
I can't even imagine.
They got some special words they like to tell me. But
did you use an 818 area code?
Yeah, you got to get a new phone number.
I know, and I was thinking that too. And there's just a lot of things I already knew that I didn't do, and I was just like, just go ahead and send it out and see what happens. And well, the thing is, I got a lot of people wanting to sell their houses right now. So I mean, but it's just, I don't have any experience in that. So maybe I can get some deals out of that and send it in for some deal funding because I really don't want to put too much effort into it.
Are you a Land Academy member?
I am, yeah.
What I would do is go on a Discord and I would tell your story. You made a mistake. You got a bunch of people with houses calling you back, and you need a partner in Texas that understands this stuff, wherever you sent the mail. And try to find a partner that buys and sells houses. There's a lot in our group that buy and sell houses in Texas.
It's good.
And then, just start splitting everything with that person. The people that are buying and selling Texas houses they have it figured out. They have the funding in place, and there's all kinds of people involved, and I'm hearing great things.
That's awesome advice. Thank you for that.
We would not be the best people to fund a Texas house, right, Jill? Don't you think?
It depends on where it is.
That's what you.
It depends on
say.
the deal. It all comes down to the deal. I know, isn't that funny? It's all about the numbers.
I asked Jill one time, a long time ago, at a beach party, because there's a bunch of guys clearly flirting with her all day. So I'm witnessing, and I turned to her at like middle of the day. I said, "Does it bug you that there's constantly men flirting with you? Does it bug women?" And she turns to me and says this sentence: "Depends on the guy." So, just like now, she said, "Depends on the deal."
That's true. Very, very true. Thank you, Justice. Good
Thank
to
you, guys.
talk with you. You're welcome. I lost Alonso. I don't know where Allenson, I think that was it. I lost you. I don't know where you went. So come back. Raise your hand again if you want to still ask a question. Maybe I'd take a call or something. But we have Josiah here. How are you? Hey, Florida Josiah.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Josiah.
Hey, this is my first time talking on Clubhouse. This is pretty cool.
Nice. Isn't this great?
Yeah, I love it. Oh yeah. Well, this is the only thing I follow on here. It's the only reason I have Clubhouse on my phone. So.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. I was wondering. I sold a property maybe a month or two ago to a guy who was asking me about doing a zoning specific mailer for him in 2 counties near where I live. And I know the zoning that he basically wants any vacant land or structures actually that are zoned for between 4 and 10 residences. And I was wondering, I know that he can pay much closer to retail price. So I guess I don't know how much into like nuts and bolts and schematics you want to get into on this call, but I was just kind of curious how you might go about doing that. Like, would you just figure out the zoning and then just make sure you're mailing properties that are appropriately sized?
Well,
to fit that many units, or how would you? Yeah.
So let's say you can't put 4 structures on one APN unless it's a condo, and even then they have to have their own separate APNs after it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So unless there's something about Florida that I don't understand, and believe me, there's many things I don't understand. But I think probably what that person means is you want to do a specific use mailer that for property that's conducive to a minor split, where you take one APN, create 4 or 5 APNs, and then resell it to a developer or develop it or whatever. Is that it?
No, he's talking about building small, like garden-style apartment complexes.
Oh, on
yeah.
APN.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's a hell of a great idea.
Yeah.
I love those.
I mean, make sure you get equity.
Oh, I mean, that'd be killer.
Excellent idea.
Side note, as a funny thing about Florida, I don't know if it's everywhere, but I own a property that it's a triplex, and it is 3 separate structures on one parcel, and there's one APN for those 3 separate structures.
How old is it? Are the buildings old?
The original house was built in 1920, and the other 2 houses were built in the 1950s, so it's pretty old.
Yeah, that's before anybody really started to have an opinion. Anybody meaning the county or the
there were no rules. There were no rules when these structures were built. That's for sure. Yeah. Huh. So would you just kind of, I guess, if you wanted to price a mailer like that much closer to retail, like say you wanted to price it at 60 or 70%, would you maybe when you're doing your test for reason, would you maybe send a couple properties to that buyer, say, hey, if you were able to buy this property for this price, would you be happy about that? And maybe would you do that maybe to figure out if you're wanting to price closer to retail, or do you think that I'm going down the wrong path?
No,
there?
I think you actually just read my mind for my next comment, because people approach us all the time to do their mailers, and it's always ended in tragedy for John.
I was
and here's why.
waiting to share.
Here's why. I'll be brief, and I'll try to not use expletives. They come to us. They're usually like, we would never even go down the path with anybody that has not completely vetted for success. Like, they own 42 complexes, or they're partners in all kinds of stuff, and they want new deals. They want new acquisitions. So our answer is always sure. How, we'll send out mail. You expect to review these deals, and then that happens. The last 2 or 3 times, we don't do this anymore at all. The last 2 or 3 times we did it, we came up with some amazing transactions, and we get responses like, well, Jack's on vacation. John's on vacation for 2 more weeks. You can't look at the deal. There's all kinds, like, it's the equivalent of the dog ate my homework. And then they always come back 2 weeks later, and they're real angry with us. Like, what happened to that deal? Well, it's gone. We did something else with it. We sent it to somebody else. And so juggling these personalities and these egos is the real problem. It's never finding the deals.
Correct.
Huh?
So I would say, get the damn thing under contract yourself and go shop it.
I didn't hear that.
Or raise capital, Josiah, in Discord. And buy the properties yourselves.
I watch
yourself.
Or your
real small
career
database.
path friends. We'll all help.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
You know what? You said it perfect, Jack. You need a backup, because I did it so well, Josiah, that I'm like, I'm hounding these people. I'm like, I did exactly what you wanted.
Yeah.
And this is stellar. I opened up escrow for this guy. I'm like, we're going to lose this deal. We got to do this. So, and I scared him. He's like, who are you? I'm like, you do not realize the value of this deal that's staring at us in the face right now, kind of thing. And they want to they're not used to how we operate a little bit. They want to take their time. They want to have 90 days due diligence. Okay, the guy's going to sell it by then if we wait around. So you need a good backup. And then I think, too, that sense of urgency, like, you snooze, you lose. And I'm going down the list, period.
Everybody knows Jill in front of the camera. They know and love sweet Jill. When she's in the middle of a real estate deal like that, especially a large commercial real estate deal, I have to leave the room, because she has no patience for somebody. And honestly, neither do I. She and I are on the same page about this. No patience about, I'll get back to you in 2 days on this. I got to check some stuff out. You either know it's a good deal in 30 seconds or you don't.
Yeah. That is kind of, there's another buyer that I was introduced to, and I can see they're legit. I mean, they are building, they're a small spec home builder. They're building 40 homes a year around here. But I've sent them several properties that it's like, okay, this meets all your criteria, and it's like you said, it's 5 days to get a response, which is really frustrating, because it's like, I'm doing what you asked me to do here. So do I understand you correctly that you would do a zoning specific mailer, but not with one buyer in mind, because you think that is going down the wrong path? You might try and Sorry, go ahead.
Here's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
I would interview this person for a long time to find out what their acquisition criteria is, where their snags. I would soak as much information out of them as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Find out what their acquisition criteria is, build a data set, scrub the data around what he's saying, send the mail out, get some properties under contract yourself,
Mm-hmm.
all the while raising capital in Land Academy Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're in complete control, Josiah. You can send it to him or not. You can never call him again, or you could try to sell him 16 deals. But you put yourself in control. The situation that you're describing is how I started in real estate. I started out of college as a full commission real estate broker, leasing office space, and hated it. So I moved to brokering long-term care facilities nationwide, nursing homes and assisted living facilities, and I did okay. But it was like pulling everybody's teeth to get an answer, which ultimately led to doing my own deals.
Mm-hmm. You do your own deals, you're in control. You're not waiting on somebody else to pull the trigger.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's
so
cool.
Then we started buying them. We started buying these facilities and reselling them, or putting them under contract and assigning the contracts.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Thank you, Josiah. Glad
Thank you. Yeah.
People suck, especially these old school real estate guys. They think, they treat you like a real estate agent. They think that you're just going to sit around like a puppy at their feet and wait for them to make decisions and do stuff, and that's just not how it goes.
No, you control it all.
Yeah.
Everybody forgets. I'm the one holding all the cards here. I have the seller. I have the deal. I can call somebody else. I can do something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's my deal.
That LA County deal, that LA County mailer, Joe, was the last time we ever did this, I think.
Exactly. I get so mad at them.
I have no choice. I have no reason to ever do this again unless you just want to start buying commercial land.
That's it. Like, I'm happy to. I could shop for somebody, but I'm going to be happy. It needs to be something that I want to buy myself anyway, and then I'll do it because I'll know that fine. You don't want it, I'm buying it. I don't care because I know what it's worth.
Do you use this process to hone your pricing if you are trying to, say in a very hot urban market, to get your pricing maybe a little bit closer to retail, more in that 60 or 70% range? Is that kind of what you did in that LA mailer?
So do you remember? No, we did that for somebody else. And do you remember in Career Path where I did that add-on presentation about mobile home conducive property and subbing it out?
Yes. Yeah, that was cool.
And it's like there were 4 scenarios. If you send a mailer out, there's 4 choices you have when you look at minor split mobile home pre-zoned property. And the best one always is never go vertical. The best one for me is, and we still do this, is we send a mailer out at 60 or 70% of retail value for properties that I know I can minor split into 4 or 5 pieces of property from one APN. And then I do that over and over and over again. And I overpay. Believe me, Jill tells me about how we're overpaying for this. But I know that once it's all done, it's got its own APN and it's mobile home ready, that people are going to, and it works. The people, they clamor to get it. Our profit margins as high as they usually are for real vacant land, not at all. But the dollars that we make, because I'm paying a lot more and selling it for a lot more, makes up for it. And that's the best case for us. That's the best case. So what you do, it's very timely and it's a great question, Josiah. Yeah, we do that all the time. We pay 60-70% for this mobile home property for sure.
That's really cool. So that is more the scenario you're kind of talking about, doing a zoning specific mailer, but where you're in control and you have your own exit plan. If a buyer, or maybe you don't even have a buyer, you're just doing a zoning specific mailer for yourself to do what you're talking about, to split and then sell off the properties.
Yeah, we're probably on our 8th or 10th property doing this now in one specific area, and now we have buyers because they saw the stuff on the first 2 deals we did, and they became the buyers, and now they're like, please don't take this to anybody else. I'll do the deals with you.
That's awesome.
Exactly. Thank you, Josiah. Hey, Ray, how are you? Nice to see
I
you.
am
Ray.
great. How are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Excellent.
So I have a comment and two questions. First, I guess my comment would be as far as special land use. I'm not sure if I don't think we hit that point of our career where we're targeting any special land use. I think what's worked best for us thus far has been agricultural land. We sell those pretty fast, and they've been in pretty high demand for us. But special land use for me is anybody that's accepting my offer price and it meets the criteria that I'm looking for. So that works for me. So that's my comment. My
Well, I think
question would be,
I
go ahead,
think you're already in the special use land business.
I would say so. My question is, we're working on a mailer, and it's a 12,000 unit, and that'll be our biggest thus far. And we just finished pricing it. We haven't sent it out yet. So, in you guys' experience in the past, when sending out a larger unit mailer, should we maybe leak it out, maybe 3 to 4,000 at a time, see what happens, and make some adjustment based upon the feedback that we get from the first go around, or just blast the whole thing out that way?
If you're not sleeping with the person who's going to answer the phone, blast it out.
I was just going to say let her rip. It's okay.
If you do sleep with the person who's answering the phone, ask her.
All right. Well, we got a call service, so. All right. And secondly, we're working with a realtor in the area too, so he's been helping us out with pricing, and he's been pretty accurate on. Right now, we got 3 deals with him, and his pricing has been spot on. So I feel that him helping us price it is an excellent thing. But he gave us one particular city, and he told us that it could range in this area from 9,000 to 30,000, 40,000, which was a big range. And the reason for the range was one area of the town was next to a lake, and that area went for a whole lot more. So when pricing that, would you price that based upon if we can come up with an APN scheme around the lake? Would that be the best way to price that, or would you kind of meet somewhere in the middle?
Jill, can you answer that first? And because I actually want to hear your answer from a answering the phone perspective.
Well, I would first do exactly what Ray said. I loved it. Like trying to come up with because you might have that's often where you find it is an APN scheme. Like this area over here that starts at 102 versus this area over here starts at 108. Big difference. Different end of the same zip code, different end of the town. And you can, get a little more granular on your stuff. However, is it going to be perfect? No. Is it worth going line by line? Heck no. We all know that one. That's a huge waste of time. So it's easier for me to add money than it is to take away money on the phone. So I would err on the side of going in a little hotter than you think you need to. You're like, I might be pricing this one under. Let's see what happens. Because a couple things. One, you might find a home run that way. Because sometimes that happens. You priced it low. You're like, you're going to hang up the phone going, I can't believe this guy just said yes. Oh my gosh. Somebody quick run to the bank right now before this guy changes his mind kind of thing. And then the other thing too is when they call you back and you get that call and you got them on the phone, they want to sell. You realize this guy was the $40,000 range, not the $9,000 range, and you came in at 12 or 15, whatever it was. You can go, you know what? Please tell me where you are because that I know that does make a difference. And then just get them talking, and you can go, okay, now I got it. So ignore that. Let's talk, and go from there.
All right,
what do you want to add, Jack?
Certainly makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I've
this
proven
goes back to I was on a call with you the other night, Jill, with the class that you were doing with the one.
You're on my intensive. You were on my intensive, Ray, 2 nights ago?
Yes, I was.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
All right. So it kind of goes back to just getting the people on the phone and building a rapport with them.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just get them talking. You can, and like I said, you can add money when you have that. When you get a little bit of a connection with them, and they like you and they want to work with you. Now you can really talk about the deal. Who cares what the offer is? Now, I mean, we care obviously. Now they know who you are and they're warmed up to you. Now you can really zero in and go, all right, let's really talk about the price.
Okay. So, in other words, just get the mail out. Let's look to make some contact, and if we hit a home run, we hit a home run. If we don't, we have the people on the phone. Take it from there, and try to turn the deal around.
Yeah. And just don't get into a negotiation game. The main thing is saying, all right, I realize my offer was 12. I now understand why your property is unique, or it has this, lakefront attribute, whatever it is. So what is your number? And then go from there.
Okay. Noted.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Good,
That was very.
You're welcome. Good question. I'm glad that you're on my thing. We're working on our content for next week too. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it was very good. I thought you did an excellent job.
Thank you very much. Happy to hear that. Hey Hunter, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Great, thank you.
Great to hear from you.
Welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, I always miss like the first half of this thing, but yeah, I was excited that you guys were talking about this one because my first mailer was actually special use for mobile home land, and
excellent.
It definitely paid off, and I learned a lot from it. But some of the techniques that I think helped me the most were, I just wanted to add a little bit because I heard you guys talking about it earlier with Josiah, and I feel like, well, first of all, RealQuest Pro is like still one of my favorites, specifically because of this. I noticed that they seem to have a little more accuracy and detail when it comes to county land use. So you could really like get in there and find that niche land use that you're looking for, and so you could pull that data and then basically price it really precise as well, so that you know what your buyer is going to pay for. So I was doing like mobile home spec builders that just place mobile homes, like brand new ones, and I know what they could pay because I was looking at the lots on Zillow ahead of time and seeing, because it shows previous sale prices, and so you can see what they pay for the lot and then what they sell the lot for once there's a house on it. And so I was just using that data to figure out what I can buy them for and then sell them to those guys for. And I just made a list of all those guys as I was doing that. I made a list of every single spec builder I could find in the area, and I just made a spreadsheet like most active to least active. And I didn't even get down to like, I just basically did everything with like the first two people that I found.
Yep.
And
That's
so
been my experience. My whole career's been like that. You don't get 5 people down. You can spend all a year building a list, and you only get down 3 to 5 people.
Yeah, it's worked wonders, and they still like blow up my phone all the time. So they're just hungry for more land all the time. And
that's great.
Yeah, and it's cool because I did it, out here in Southern California in like a really over-mailed market too, and it still worked. And I'm gonna actually do another one just because it works so well. It's like, it just goes to show, it's like if you could dial in your niche, like you can compete against overly mailed areas. And
yep.
I mean, it was my first mailer I ever did, and I knew that going into it, but it actually worked out, luckily, because it was a gamble. But
yeah. All kidding aside, Hunter, you're a real logical person now because you get this and you've had some success for career path next year.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like, thank you. Like, I do. It is definitely something that I was looking at the what you guys are doing with the intensives, and that was pretty tempting. But I'm trying to dig through all these incoming purchase agreements that I have right now, and so I'm like super bogged down with them, which is good. I'm not like.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hunter.
Those
Are all these sellers just blowing up your phone? Gosh, don't you hate it when that happens?
That's
yeah,
what
I'm not trying to brag. It's like humble bragging, but it's like at the same time, I'm like, it
Please
is actually.
brag.
I'm like trying to figure, like, you know, you go through all of them over and over again, and I put out like way too much mail at one time, so I'm like trying to figure it all out. And I'm just a one-man show right now, so.
Well, this is beautiful. I mean, this ties into, you know, what Ray was saying. Do I let her rip? This is the best situation to be in when you're staring at so many deals and you can go, all right, everyone, let's rank them in order. You know, what's the best to what's the worst. You're not going to lose because you have so much to choose from. You're not scrambling trying to see something that's not there.
Yeah, and it gets rid of that scarcity mindset too, because I mean that's really toxic, and people pick up on it, I think, subconsciously. So when you have like this big feast and you just like it's a buffet of, you know, like purchase agreements, you know, you could almost take it or leave it on a lot of them. So you know, there's a lot of them where actually, you know, try to kill the deal, and then they're like, oh well, you know,
what would you pay?
This because I have you know, I just want to get rid of it by the end of the year, and so I offered like a third of my initial price. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's just do it. So
yep.
I'm still looking for ways to kill those, but I don't see any, so I'll probably end up buying them.
I love those ones when it's so low, you're like, well, now I have to buy it. Yep.
We call this rich people problems around our office.
Are you there?
Yep, we gotcha.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, I think I just got a spam call for Marriott just now.
That's hilarious.
I got like 4 a day. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah,
good job.
It's pretty nice, but that's one of the things, like when Josiah was talking about, like, should I? Because I've thought about that too. Like I know people that look for specific property types, and I've had that same debate in my own head, like, oh, should I just do it for them? But you know, if you did do something like that, the only way you could really make it work for you, I think, is by saying like, okay, well, you pay for the mail, you pay for all the data, and you get first pick of anything on here. If you don't want it, I get second pick, and that's the only way to really make it worth your while as like a backup, I think. But I don't even know if I'd do that. I think the best way is like what Steve said, just find your buyers and just do it the normal way.
Yeah. You know, because these buyer types, these people that are mobile home installers, let's call them, they're really developers is what they are. Yeah. They're always looking for new places too. But if you sit down and talk to them, and they're going to say, oh yeah, this place outside of San Diego is great. We just don't have any land there. If you can buy some land, you know, they'll open the new markets up for you. Is my point.
Yeah, it's like going in there with that kind of confidence that like you already have a seller is like you could get you could really niche down, and you know, a lot of people are sending out postcards or whatever, so they'll get something back and they don't know how good it is because they just sent out a postcard for it, and then now they got to start doing all this due diligence on it, whereas you front load all that effort into the actual data when you send it out, and so you know exactly pretty much what's coming back as far as the land use, and then you can just go, you know, hit the ground running, and you know exactly what you could pay for it, you know, top price or whatever would be because your guy has already told you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just the best. Like, it's a really nice feeling. For my first mailer, I feel like it kind of spoiled me a little bit, and I've been wondering, should I just keep doing these infills then? Because like, you know, it definitely was easy. It was like really easy in comparison. I mean, well, I don't know. I haven't. In my opinion, it's very easy because the guys just like they will give you their exact criteria, and they'll even help you figure out these very technical due diligence things about it. You know, so when you mail again, now you know exactly what they're looking for on really precise things. You know, so it's,
Hunter, you didn't get lucky here. This is not luck. This is you following the how this works and putting these deals together and finding buyers, and it's going to happen on your next mailer. Every time I have a lot of success with something, I tend to look in the mirror and say, well, that was a huge accident. That's never going to happen again, and it happens again. So keep doing it. Don't change a thing. Keep doing it until the well's dry, and try some new stuff while that's happening.
The part of the education that spoke to me the most was the infill lots. Like when I watched that part, I was like, this just seems to be the most streamlined thing on here. Like I love all of it. Like I love the Land Academy stuff in general, just because it is very like you front load all the effort and then you outsource as much of the effort as possible. So it's just you could go really fast. It's like a speed bike or something. It's like but that part with the infill lots was just so elegant that I felt like it was it lends itself to the most speed.
I love it. I would like to comment too. Thank you, Hunter, for not trying to find an easy button. This is the thing that boggles my mind. I jump into, sometimes I'm in other clubhouse rooms where they're like for beginners, and so not everyone is like you, obviously, and you just were able to take a step back and think outside the box and go with it. And you're not right now complaining about I need an easy button to price these. You just figured it out. Taking a minute and sitting on your computer and looking and going, where am I going to find these guys? Well, let's see who's buying. Okay, and let's start getting a list together. Just coming up with that on your own is huge, and not everybody can do that.
Yeah, yep. Well, I think they could, but I don't know. I mean, like
they don't think of it, and I don't know why.
That's right, Joe. Totally right.
They really don't. They almost like need you to say, go see these names. Now go call these 4 people. Okay, I'll go do that. Okay, now why did I have to show you that? You can do this.
Well, the world's packed full of people like that, and then there's people like Hunter, and I'm not blowing smoke here, that you probably don't know it yet, but you're just a natural entrepreneur.
Well, I appreciate it. It's my first business. I don't know. I've always been a time clock puncher, so.
This is awesome.
There you go.
It's great. That was a great feeling. I've only started I started in May, and I'll pretty much make 100% of my normal income by the end of the year. I'm on track. So, yeah. I haven't quit my job or anything, but
awesome.
It's a cool feeling. So yeah.
That's nice.
Excellent. Congratulations, and we're glad it's working out for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys sharing the wisdom and sharing the secret sauce, because this is ridiculous.
Thank you very much, Hunter. Appreciate that. I'm going to do one more here, if it's okay with you, Jack. Sure. Hey, Jay Brown, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Joe? How you doing, Steve?
Excellent.
Good. I just missed you guys in Arizona. I was out there. I signed up for Land Academy, and I happened to be in Arizona, like literally 3 days after I signed up. So I went to the first day of the mastermind, and just at that time I probably went through about 3 videos. So when I went to the mastermind, I was just completely information dump times 10. And then I know you guys met up later that day, and then I couldn't even move. Like my brain was in so much fog. Yes, I'll get you guys next time. Don't worry.
Okay.
Right. So I got into this by, I guess, assigning contracts to builders and developers, for infill lots. So the reason I found Land Academy was because there was so many potential deals I was missing out on. I was like, how do I maximize these? So I got into the course, and I went through the infill lot section. Forgive me, Steve, man. I'm not a information still went over my head. More specifically, if I'm gonna hop on the Zoom with you guys and probably send you like 1 or 2 of them to see if I should do the deal.
For sure.
But if I'm confused about the percentage. I know it's so simple, but it's one of my weaknesses, admittedly. But so am I supposed to ask? Price is supposed to be 10% of what the average comps are in the area, and that's what I'm supposed to purchase a property for. Is that correct? Like anywhere from 10 to about 20%. Is that?
I can hear. I would love for you to. Are you going to be on the call in an hour?
Yes, sir. I definitely am.
Okay. So what I would do. This is my suggestion. I'm so glad you joined us here on Clubhouse that we can talk about this. I would, in a word processor or something, type out all the questions that you have, and then get ready to copy and paste them in the Q&A, and I will answer them for you and everybody else about pricing info lots and all that. We don't get enough good questions like that, Usually on the Thursday webinar, it's a closed webinar for Land Academy members that address people's deals. It's like, would you do this deal? But I will happily talk about how we price infill lots because it's totally different
on Monday?
than how we price rural vacant
On
land.
Tuesday
In general,
at what time?
we try to buy infill lots for 10% of the value of a new home that's built on it. So if a house is $500,000 brand new, and that's the going rate for a property around there, a like-kind property, you should
Tuesday at 9, yeah.
You should be buying the land for about $50,000 and selling it for $100,000 because a regular developer
oh, because it is a big thing.
Budgets 20%, 20 to 25% for the land of the whole finished property.
Yeah.
There's exceptions, but that's general rule.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I have like 4 or 5 of those, honestly, just sitting there, and I'm tired of assigning it to builders because I want to make more money, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and then sometimes it can be easy assigning the contract, but sometimes it could be such a headache. But yeah, I'll definitely hop on the Zoom. That's really good news. I'm really glad to hear that. I'll see you in about an hour then.
Okay. Great. It's a good change up for us too as instructors to talk about something new.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Before I found Land Academy, I was mentioning before I was assigning contracts, I was getting at least 1 to sometimes 2 to 3 purchase agreements a day. So shifting my gears to the whole thought process that you guys have is just amazing. Instead of making like a 4K spread, 4K check, it's double, triple sometimes. So really excited. So thanks, guys.
That's
well,
awesome.
wait till you start buying them for 50 and selling them for 100.
I have like 3 of those like smoking deals. I have one where the comps in the area about 280, and a lot of the people are saying, "Yeah, I'll sell you the lot for 20,000." Like, okay.
I mean, that's what deal funding's for, pal. I love those kinds of deals where when you take use off the table. So a lot of the properties that we review and that we buy, Jill and I have to go through a pretty extensive due diligence process to make sure we can use it for what we're intending. With infill lots, it's like, yeah, we're going to put a house there that's just like the one that's right next to it, which, by the way, sold for $280,000 less than a year ago. There's no decision to make. We just get the checkbook out.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think that was some of my hesitation with it was, okay, when I'm assigned to the contract, I just assign it. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about it. Now this is what kind of got me a little bit shaky of like, oh crap, I'm actually responsible for this. But, thanks to Land Tank, and some of the people I've interacted with have some kind of guidance, right? I love you guys you are not alone in your real estate endeavors.
We mean it. Here we are.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in an hour then.
You got it. You're welcome.
Awesome, Jay.
That's perfect. It's a perfect little segue here to that. So anyone here who is not in our world, not in Land Academy, and you want to get in on this call, what are we talking about? Every Thursday at 3 o'clock, so in 56 minutes from now, Pacific time, we have a closed Land Academy member call. And it's a Zoom call. It goes roughly 2 hours, and we talk details. I mean, really details. We look at properties. It's called "Would You Do This Deal?" And sometimes people have a brag about it deal, and it's a great place to be. So if you want a one-time invite, you sure can. We would love to have you. Just send a note to support@landacademy.com, and my team will shoot you over a Zoom invite, and you can get on the call today. So thank you very much. This was another awesome, detailed. I had a good time. Did you have a good time, Jack?
No, of course, always.
Okay.
I'll tell you
these.
on a personal note, when people show up and ask great questions and they have some enthusiasm, it's so much more fun. It becomes a two-way thing instead of like a boring instructor standing up in front of a chalkboard, which is what we are sometimes,
Right. Or you're just stuck with me on the podcast.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to tell everybody too, we recorded this morning all our podcasts for next week, and we were rolling. There was one time, I think it's Tuesday's show, we were laughing so hard that Jack could not catch his breath. So I really encourage you to pay attention to next week's shows. We had some good stuff in there. Did you want to say something, Erin? I saw Erin unmute for a minute. I she had an announcement.
Thank you. I did.
Oh, cool.
Just a quick little heads up. If you are a member and have access to Discord, I would keep an eye on it in the next hour and a half or so because there will be something special dropping in today that we haven't leaked at all. So this is the official wink wink to take a look.
I forgot it's garage sale day.
Well, thanks for saying it.
Oh, Jill.
Nobody knows what that means, though.
Okay, true.
Nobody knows what that is.
It is garage sale day.
But no one knows. Oh, good. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. I'm very excited. I know Amy can't wait. Steven can't wait. We're all excited.
I forgot it. Bad. Okay, cool. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. Erin. Glad that you joined us. Please follow us. Please, we're here every other Thursday. And please shoot me messages, shoot my team messages, support Atlantic Academy if you've got some topics you'd like us to cover. And otherwise, we will see you in a little bit or see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Jill.
Take care.